Well, I'd like to welcome everybody. This is Costa Rica, and I hope that you'll join us on our journey in May of 2025, specifically May 4th through May 15th. Costa Rica is a marvelous place. They go by the Pura Vida spirit, which is pure living, pure life. It's a wonderful place that I kind of view as a reminder and a sort of a reset for how I like to live my life. People are laid back, they're very present, not a lot of worry about superficial things and distractions, very present, very into their relationships, and it's just a wonderful way to live. So I like to visit Costa Rica to enjoy the food, the culture, the people, but most especially the spirit of laid back living and very present living. I brought a few slides that I'll share with you here. And whenever we discuss Costa Rica, a lot of people dream of meeting a sloth or two while we're there. And there's a good chance we will, but I wanted to make sure you saw one just in case. So here you go. There's your sloth. Another animal, kind of elusive, but wonderful to run into is the quetzal. And the quetzal comes in the male and female variety, as most species do. This is the male with the long tail, long plumage. Wonderful to spot, and every so often we get to have a chance to see a quetzal. So again, just in case, here you go. There's your quetzal. And howler monkeys. That's another very popular viewing animal that folks want to see when they visit Costa Rica. They're wonderful, they're cute, they're fun to watch, they're very playful, and we'll have a chance and an opportunity to see those while we're down there. A little bit about Costa Rica. It's nestled between, to the north, Nicaragua, and to the south and southeast is Panama on the Central American Isthmus. On the eastern side is the Caribbean Sea of the Atlantic Ocean, and then obviously the Pacific side. And we'll talk a little bit about that going forward, but that provides a very unique climate and culture and history for Costa Rica. You get to experience the dry, more arid Pacific coast and the more humid, more lush Caribbean coast and side of the country, where in lots of places, for example, the United States, you'd have to travel great distances to experience that. Costa Rica has it all packaged in a very small space. Costa Rica is roughly the size, if you're comparing it, it's roughly the size of Vermont and New Hampshire combined. 5 million people populate the country. Most of the people inhabit in and around San Jose, the capital in the Central Valley. Costa Rica literally translates to rich coast, which is a phrase attributed to Christopher Columbus, who there is some debate as to whether he was speaking to the potential for riches and expensive, valuable metals that would be available in Costa Rica, or he was describing the beauty of the coastline as he sailed in. So there's some dispute about why he called it Costa Rica or the rich coast. So maybe we'll never know. About 3 million visitors per year, which is roughly the size, it's just shy of the size of San Jose, the capital city. So quite a few people like to visit Costa Rica. Its unique constitution, which was ratified in 1949, forbids a military. It outlaws a standing army, which is unique in the modern world. But Costa Rica has survived more than 70 years with no military force and a wonderful economy that has gone up and down through the years. But a thriving ecotourism industry. They have brought in lots of other types of industry to diversify. Tech companies, software companies, pharmaceutical companies have moved in. More recently, in the last few years, some of the United States-based box stores like Walmart, Staples, things like that have moved in. They spend money they have rather than on defense and military. They spend a lot of it on education. So they enjoy a wonderful 98% literacy rate through the country, which is high for Latin America. They have been lamenting lately in the last few years a reduced amount of spending per student, and so there's lots of groups pushing for folks to spend a little bit more money per student on education. They pride themselves in Costa Rica on using 99% renewable energies. They use thermal from their volcanic activity, a lot of hydro from their powerful rivers and streams, lots of solar from the abundant sunshine that occurs in Costa Rica, and then wind energy. We will pass on our journey several, or at least 2 wind farms that harvest the valley winds that come off of the Continental Divide. Costa Rica boasts 500,000 species that call Costa Rica home, either the low, lush lowlands or up in the cloud forests. For those of you who don't know, Costa Rica has several cloud forests and a few rainforests, and there is a difference between the rainforests and the cloud forests. Rainforests are lowland. The rain falls obviously from the sky to the ground, and it's very low elevation. It occurs at low elevation. Lots of sunshine in rainforests and much warmer climates in rainforests. Cloud forests, on the other hand, are upper elevations, and the clouds provide the water. The trees, the species, the flora actually act as sponges and pull the water out of the clouds. And so cloud forests are almost always moist, lush, wet, and much cooler than your rainforests. So water kind of moves horizontally rather than vertically. So that's a good way to kind of remember it. We will visit a wonderful cloud forest reserve. And speaking of reserves, 25% of the landmass in Costa Rica is protected, either through national parks or preserves or cloud forest reserves. And that is, a quarter of the landmass of Costa Rica is protected for flora and fauna and the amazing biodiversity. Our journey will take us from San Jose, where we'll fly into and meet. We'll spend some time in San Jose, visiting various cultural spaces, and then we will take a coach bus up to the mountains of Monteverde, towards the northwest, through the Central Valley, and then up towards the northwest into Monteverde, which straddles the Continental Divide, where we can view the Pacific side for miles and miles on a clear day, and also the Caribbean side of the country up on the Continental Divide. We'll visit the cloud forest. We'll do a night hike. We'll do a day hike through the cloud forest. Very different experiences, even though it's very roughly the same terrain. Different animals, different plant species come alive and share their beauty at the different times of the day. From Monteverde, we'll travel down through the Tiburon Valley, around Lake Arenal, and in the shadow of the Arenal volcano, and we'll stay in La Fortuna. There we'll have an opportunity to take a boat trip on Lake Arenal. We'll visit Arenal National Park, visit some waterfalls, and enjoy all that the cute little town of La Fortuna has to offer. From La Fortuna, we will travel down to the lowlands and the Pucari River. The Pucari River is one of the more popular rivers in Latin America for whitewater rafting. We will jump on a raft and float the river roughly 15 to 18 miles. Fantastic stretch of river, absolutely gorgeous, lush green gorges, and another place for abundant wildlife, obviously different than up in the mountains. After our whitewater rafting trip, we will head down to the coast, the Caribbean coast, and Puerto Viejo de Talamanca, locally known by the British as Old Harbor. And it's a huge surfing town. It has been for several decades now. A lot of young people flock there to enjoy the surf. They have a very famous reef surf there called Salsa Brava, and we'll enjoy that. And then from there back to San Jose. In San Jose, we will get to experience and watch being made some Barucan masks. These are ancient masks that have been made for centuries, 500-600 years of mask making, originally used to scare the conquistadors, the Spanish conquistadors, away. And the indigenous people of Costa Rica felt like the masks were very successful. They kept making them. They used them all the time to frighten enemies. And now they're using them in carnival celebrations. Just had one recently on Saturday. Again, about 3.5 million people live in San Jose, so it's the most populated space in the country. We will travel from the United States or from wherever you're coming from down to Costa Rica. After all that travel, we will have the exact same time as Salt Lake City. So depending on where you're coming from, we will be in Mountain Time. We have the exact same time zone, Costa Rica, as Salt Lake City, Utah. We'll visit the National Theater, which is a national treasure, beautiful architecture built in the late 1800s, and houses some national art that we'll get to enjoy. The theater is still in heavy use, lots of performances on a weekly and monthly basis. From San Jose, again, we'll travel up to Monteverde, which translates to Green Mountain. Elevation is roughly around 4,500 feet. So if you're used to elevation in the Rocky Mountain West, for example, relatively low for that, but quite high for a place like Costa Rica. We will straddle the Continental Divide. You'll get to see both sides from Monteverde. We'll visit the Cloud Forest Biological Reserve, which is a national treasure. People come from all over the world to experience the amazing biodiversity. Tons of bird watching. We'll obviously do a night hike and some zip lining to enjoy the canopy from above the canopy. So we will hike through the cloud forest and then we will zip above the cloud forest. So you'll get every angle and every opportunity to meet those howler monkeys. At La Fortuna, we'll visit some waterfalls. Obviously, I told you we'll visit Lake Arenal and the Arenal Volcano National Park. Just a gorgeous space down there. We'll get to enjoy the thermal pools that are fed by the heat of the volcano. Nice, relaxing thermal pools. Some of the rich coffee that's available in that mountainous and central area, and just gorgeous space to explore and relax. We'll take some time to relax through here as well. Again, from La Fortuna, we'll go to the Pucare River. It's in the lowlands and a more abundant wildlife through here. Again, lush green gorges, just amazing ecosystems. And the river itself is one of the best in Latin America and actually around the world for whitewater rafting. And then the Old Harbor, Puerto Viejo de Talamanca. We'll get a chance to hit the coast, do some snorkeling, do some swimming. If you'd like, we can venture out onto the Salsa Brava, which is the world famous surf. It's not to be taken lightly. You want to be a pretty good surfer to do that. They have the barrels that people surf through and all of that. we'll get to witness some chocolate making and take a Caribbean cooking class where we'll enjoy the spoils of our labor after we're done. And we'll also visit Cauita National Park, which is another national treasure and part of that protected area that Costa Rica prides itself on. And that is the trip. I am looking forward to it myself, and I really look forward to sharing it with all of you.